Welcome to the One Up Podcast. I am your host, El Caballo, aka Tony, here with my nearest and dearest. We got Doe, Mateo, and Pucho in the building again and again. How y'all boys doing?
I'd like to talk about a topic, guys. Carlos Mencia. Is he wrong for stealing these jokes so long ago? Is this a problem? What's the issue?
Doughboy, I don't understand why you bringing up an old topic.
Yeah, we discussed this last week.
Yeah, did you add it to the sheet?
I deleted that
Added
shit.
it back.
Was it
Added
highlighted
back.
blue?
You put it back?
It's back in.
Wow. Wow.
This man has no respect. I've been finding Doughboys.
Wow.
I've been finding Doughboys secretly replacement here. I got 2 people on the list that are down to go at a moment's notice.
Is
You're
one of them
gonna
that guy? Is one of them that guy in the Elmo suit that went to Pucho's party?
Facts.
I'd vet
Actually, a
him.
nice. It was a girl.
Oh,
She-
Give me a
very
second.
young.
Awesome.
I was surprised by that.
we need some feminine energy on this podcast.
thin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. Like, just looking at that suit, I started fucking sweating profusely. I was like, I look like the fucking Key and Peele skit where it's just fucking water leaking off his head. And it's like, I don't know how the fuck that woman is in that damn suit, like dancing and playing. And it just seems terrible. Like, she has to have like a personal air conditioner just in the suit. Like the astronauts.
Can I say something else?
Say whatever you want.
Air conditioning has never been the same since I left that Airbnb.
That Airbnb was cold.
Dude,
Yo.
that yurt that I stayed in this weekend, the tiny little yurt with a baller fucking air conditioner in it, that thing was ice cold. It was so good. It was 125 degrees outside and it was 60 inside that yurt. It was so good.
What the fuck is a yurt?
Yeah, I
It's-
don't know what a yurt is.
A yurt is like a white person version of a teepee. It's
yurt.
just like a lodge, big circular tent, a bougie tent.
It's
Okay.
like a closed off what's those little things people get married in? Starts with a G.
A gazebo.
A gazebo. It's like a closed off gazebo.
You could word it that way. Yeah, it's a big gazebo.
That's
I can see that.
awesome. Can
It
you
was
bring
good.
like your Nintendo Switch in there?
There was no TV in there, but I mean, it had Wi-Fi. They had like Yeti coolers inside. There was an AC. It was bougie camping. The camp bathroom, the shower was tiled. It had hot water, which I've never had at a campsite before.
Take me along, buddy.
It was very bougie. They had free wine and beer tastings every day.
Oh my god! I need to
Mhm.
go camping.
It was good stuff, man.
I need to go get a yurt.
I don't
I'd
know that I'm
sleep
gonna.
in a
I don't know
yurt.
that I'm gonna go back to like normal camping anytime soon in my life.
I've never been camping in my entire life.
Never.
If you can camp with an AC, why not camp with an AC?
Right?
I
That's
remember.
what I'm saying.
I was
If
I was gonna join the Boy Scouts of America. Me and Francesco, yo. Francesco was my best friend when I moved to Florida. We're going. We convinced my mom. Why? Because we wanted to shoot shit with a bow and arrow. It had archery. I was like, this is fucking lit. So whatever. And then after like some number of months, you camp out and shit like that. So we're like, boom. Convince my mom. My mom's like, fuck it. All right, we're taking these fucking kids to the Boy Scouts of America.
Uh-huh.
On the way there, boom, get into a car accident.
Oh,
Car gets crashed. I never made it to the Boy Scouts of America, so I've never been camping. That was it. That was the end of my entire camping Boy Scouts career right there.
That's where your
That's
timeline
crazy.
diverged. There's a variant version of Pucho that he's like a survivalist. He's living off the grid out in the mountains right now.
Still thinks
imagine
9/11 was an inside job. He's fucking got his tinfoil hat on.
there's high tech pooch, the version we got, and then there's survivalist pooch. That's crazy.
It's interesting.
I'd like to think that there's a variant of me who isn't completely addicted to porn.
Yeah, he's a good Christian boy. He still goes to church every day.
He's a Jehovah's boy.
He's going around in his little suit knocking on doors.
That's 2 weeks in a row your porn comes up.
It happens. All right. The people
Last
need
week
to
you
know.
were super interested in the whole like the buff woman who's like holding and coddling the little man.
Yo, that's a new form of porn. Porn is upgrading itself now. They're like these dynamics. We're gonna change them around. Before big man, small woman. Now big woman, small man. Now it's like the roles are getting reversed.
Is that fighting the patriarchy? Is that like
I hope
this is
so.
fighting gender conformity, right?
I hope
I
so.
don't think so.
With every nut busted.
I think it's
What?
I think it's a mommy complex. I think
Mm.
like people still want to be coddled like when they were a child by like a mother, but they want like some sexual aspect added to that. I think that's what it is. It's still the same patriarchy, right?
Freud
It's
would
the
be
same
very
bullshit.
interested in this form of pornography. So, Tony, what is your take on this topic that we're talking about?
Busting nuts? I'm with all nut bustings.
All with
No.
all sorts of
nut
nut
busting,
busting.
okay.
Yeah.
Hope
awesome.
everybody
I like-
gets their nuts busted, girls
Tony-
and guys.
Tony, what is the timeline split? What does the alternate Tony look like?
Yeah, like was there ever a point in time where you were supposed to do something and then you never got to do it, and maybe there's an alternate version of you out there that's really good at something?
Yeah. The man's a Hall of Famer in NFL.
Wow.
Facts.
So boring. Like a better answer would be there was a time where Tony bought the special pants, the waders, to go hunting. He never killed an alligator. He never killed a deer. And it's like there's Hunter Tony, where he's just going out, he's living on the lamb. He's just living life off the land. He's fucking hunting
Lamb?
all types of shit. Yeah, living life like off the grid is
No,
living.
you said lamb.
The
I didn't say
lamb.
lamb.
You said lamb.
Lamb, Lam, lamb.
She said living off the land.
I said both of those things. Oh my God. So there's a saying, right? Living on the lamb is off the grid. Living off the land with a D means that you're finding your food out in the wilderness and you're self-reliant. You know, you're finding your stuff, you're hunting, you're growing your vegetables.
I'm all
Both
about
those
the
sayings
land.
exist and they mean different things.
Do you
I'm all
think
about
that
the land.
survivalist Pucho is best friends with survivalist Tony, or do they hate each other and they take shots at each other all the time?
We probably
It's like Jumanji,
kill
where
each
there's
other.
the hunter and then there's the fucking other guy who looks like a caveman. They're both living in the wilderness, but they is on site.
on site. No questions.
Let me tell you all about this mini golf place that I went to. I was camping though,
Ooh.
because we need to go there the next time y'all come down to Austin. Y'all ever
Yes.
play golf with your friends? Any of those like mini golf video games?
No.
So they're very involved mini golf course. You know, mini golf is usually like there's windmills and there's like a clown. You have to hit it into its mouth or something, right? This place is not like that. These are long like holes, and there's like uphill bits, and you have to go around curves, and there's little like pipe setups. So you have to like angle it off these pipes. It was crazy. There was one hole that had a legit ramp. Like you had to hit the ball hard enough to ramp it up into this next section that you had to walk up the stairs to get to this next section of the hole.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was so much fun.
I'm into that. You know what you guys put me onto, and now I'm like kind of on it whenever I see it. Darts on site. I'm
Darts is
on
good
there.
stuff.
Any
Is that the new
anytime
word?
I see a
On site?
darts.
Is this
That's
what
the
we're
word
going to
of
be
the day.
doing? On
Yeah,
site.
it's the word of the episode.
On site. Yeah, I fucking hate darts.
No,
It's not fun.
I feel like you would. I figured you would like throwing things. Guess not.
I mean, like just throwing things out of boredom. Like, oh, I got a bullseye that time. It's like, all right, that is passable. But
Mhm.
like being at a bar and like actually playing darts and recording points and trying to see who won, it's like this isn't very fun. Not for me. I understand all of our brethren over the pond. They hate me now. They want to kill me because they're all, you know, they like to drink beers at the pub
Mhm.
and play their darts. But it ain't for me. I'm not with it.
Well, they're also drinking room temperature beer, and I just can't get behind that.
Oh, what is it? Fucking 1800 England? What is this?
It is England, and they live
Mhm.
like it's the 1800s for damn
No,
sure.
thank you. Warm beer.
Mhm. A nice warm pint.
You
Oh.
ever have warm Old English?
No, you shouldn't. Don't let it get warm. You have to drink that shit. If you're gonna buy that shit, just drink it fast enough so it doesn't get warm.
Yikes.
Yeah, I've only drank like 2 or 3 beers that were warm, like deliberately.
Mhm.
And there were those few times. I guess one time was actually a mistake, and Mateo warned me. But it's those them cask IPAs that they be coming just hot.
Yep.
Not the best experience. I'll just say it wasn't very pleasant. It was strong though, but not very pleasant.
What did you get up to this week, Tony?
Let me tell you about my exciting weekend. I just watched my son all day Saturday.
Oh,
That's all I did.
I saw him in that walker.
Yeah,
The boy's already walking. He's ready.
No,
on 2
his feet touched the ground. And I pushed it back and forth to get him to realize, like, oh, I can like move it.
Mhm.
So for the most part, I mean, I think he's getting it, but it takes time. So that's what I
Those
one
things are
step at a
supposed to be
time.
bad for them.
No,
It's a walker.
no, he just
It's got
sits in it.
wheels?
Yeah, it sits in it, and he just
Yeah.
plays with his toys. And I don't think it's bad for him necessarily.
What is the reasoning? Why do they say they're bad for him?
Like there's an aspect of like, in general, babies kind of just know what they need to do, and kind of like encouraging them to do things before they're ready could be harmful to them. Like
Huh.
their body's not developed enough and things like that. And then there's also like a lot of accidents happen with these walkers. Like once these kids are able to move in them, even though they're not really ready to walk, they're able to like move around the room and shit. They'll crash into something and it'll fall over. Or I mean, Tony don't got no stairs in his crib, but if he has stairs, like maybe it'll get tripped up. Like there's a lot of injuries with these things.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh,
That's crazy.
yeah.
What about you, Pooch? Any adventures this week?
Yeah, I went to a museum yesterday in
Sweet.
Tampa. Yeah.
What
Tampa.
kind of museum did you go to?
It was a children's museum, and it had the Daniel Tiger exhibit was in town. So my daughter
Nice.
loves Daniel Tiger. He's made a couple appearances on the pod, all right. And yeah, she was all up in there hanging out with Miss Elena, chilling at the mailman spot. Because they recreate the little neighborhood in the
No
museum. So
way.
like all the little cribs are there. Yeah, it was really cool. And then they had like a little meet and greet with Daniel Tiger. Shit was kind of terrible because it was just a long drive there and a long drive back. It was cool chilling with the fam, and my daughter had a great time, so that was cool. But it was just like, to drive an hour, 2 hours to get to a place with traffic and then do stuff and then drive back, and it's like now my whole day is just like yeah, that aspect sucked. But yeah, I got my Secret Labs chair.
Ah.
The
I
man
don't know if
has
that did it any justice.
Do you want to hit the
evolved.
moves? You want to hit the moves that Tony was hitting with the whole?
Is this the tradition now?
Yes, this is how you break every chair in.
Now hit that palanca. Yeah, hit that one right then and just fall back.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to hit the palanca because I got the chair so perfectly set up that I don't even want to fuck with it.
You gotta
just
hit
take
it.
my word. It goes very fucking
You guys
back.
gotta hit it, bro.
This thing is a fucking throne, by the way. It's fucking massive. Like,
That thing's
it's
big,
nice.
man.
I love the chair.
Oh my god.
and the it's so smooth. The wheel. Also, this chair. I'm a big dude. You know what I'm saying? So I copped the XL. It's kind of a mistake. Like
Too big?
in a perfect world, I'd lose weight and buy the medium-sized chair. It's a little bit too large for me. All right. I have the chair literally at the minimum setting. I mean, it's all the way down, and I fit fine, right? But I mean, it's on the cusp.
I'll
Like,
tell you right now,
This
Pooch,
ain't built for a 5'8" dude. I'm just telling you right now.
if you want to
This
swap
shit is like-
chairs, we could swap chairs because this shit is built for you.
It's on the
I like
cups.
this chair though.
On the cups,
I
as
love
Tony
my
would
chair
say.
because I didn't get the extra large one. I got the one down low because I was losing weight. So under the weight threshold for the chair. And I like how my legs sit. I wish it could be just a little bit higher, but for the most part, I got full leg control. My shit ain't swinging.
Pucho doesn't.
yesterday I put it at the maximum height, and my feet were like a foot off the ground. I was like, "This chair's too big."
So Pucho, you're saying you don't want 3 months of Tony's back sweat and whatnot on the chair? They swap it.
I was not entertaining that bullshit. Also, he's trying to give me a fucking peasant's chair because not only does he have the not Excel, so it's one level down, so it's not even like it's not the Iron Throne. I got the Iron Throne, right? I'm out here like I don't know who to pick. Let's just say Eddard Stark assumed the throne like he should have when he found Jaime in there after he killed the king, and we got King Eddard Stark. All right, let's say that's the other path we're on right now. I'm sitting on the throne, on the Iron Throne, like a real Stark out here. Tony's over here. Not even he's acting like the warden of the East or shit. Like, ain't cutting it. Little ass chair, and I got the 22 Titan. This is a fire one. It got a lot of the extra bells and whistles. You could adjust the handles. Go this way. You could adjust them in and out. Then they have the lumbar. You could control where the lumbar is with this little knob on the side. You could control how much lumbar support there is. I thought that one was fire. Yeah, I don't know. Real nice.
Tony's trying to have
I don't think you got it all, Tony.
What I do like about this chair, Pooch, and I think you would also love to, but you don't play video games in these chairs. You got your recliner, but you can adjust the arms where they'll go inwards. So, like, if you're holding a controller, your body just naturally like, all right, just
yeah. You could adjust the arms for different applications.
I love that.
I'm sitting at the computer or playing with a handheld and things like that. So that's pretty dope. One thing I don't like that I've experienced with other office chairs is that the in and out, like horizontally, of the handles. I've been on other chairs where you could control that with controls. Mm-hmm. On this chair, you need to unscrew and move it in and then re-screw it back in. Wow. Not a lot of work at all. We're talking about like just a quarter turn on 2 screws. You can move it in and a quarter turn right back and tighten it. It's just, it's like what? I got to whip out a tool. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to do it ever. I'm going to find the one that fits for me and I'm never going to move.
I was going to say, in theory, you're not changing that. You're setting. You're finding one setting. You're leaving it there.
I'm a fidgeter, all right. When I'm in my office chair, I be like, all day long. I'm just fucking doing this all day out of pure fidgetiness.
The real fact
this is a fucking definite upgrade on my old chair, which is back there. That fucking chair, I didn't even realize it. Like I felt like I moved from like the Toyota Corolla that's got 350,000 miles on it. You know, it's got fucked up tires, just all fucked up, and now I'm sitting in a Cadillac. Like side by side, that chair looks like a fucking toddler's chair. Like it looks insane.
Currently, the chair that I have. So watch it, bud.
Is that the chair you bought? My chair?
Yeah, you told me, hey, buy this chair. Served me well.
That's just terrible.
Doey's got some interesting energy today. He just told you to watch it, bub.
Yeah, for real. What a real
Wolverine
piece of work.
Bub. Wolverine's literally the only person I've ever heard say bub.
It's gonna be real awkward.
Yourself, though.
It's gonna be real awkward with these chairs, though. Once we get that sponsorship, and Doey and I just get a free chair.
Yeah.
Y'all spent money on it.
I'll be happy.
I'll be happy for y'all. Y'all could finally evolve into real man chair instead of those fucking peon chairs you're sitting in now.
Are we revisiting the male ego topic where you're trying to measure your manliness off the level of chair you're sitting in?
A little bit. Nah, these chairs are definitely upgrade. I would highly suggest y'all to get it. Like my back doesn't hurt no more. Like even Pucho looked like he got knee implants. He's a little taller now. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Man, just
knee implants.
Got to break your legs.
Just make your knees bigger?
Nah, it makes them longer. Like right now, you guys is about it. Whatever. Let's get on to the show. Anyways, I want to ask you guys a question since we're all really good friends here. Even some would say,
glad you just glossed over how I was doing. But I'm okay. I'm great. Doing well. Still alive and happy.
Some people would say that true friends care how your week goes.
Yeah,
maybe you're not a true friend, though. And maybe you're only Tony's acquaintance.
Facts.
That's a good segue.
Facts. So what
I
separates?
love that. It's a good segue. He fucking segued. He created a fucking segue off of the segue to the topic and brought it back. Like he's the one who brought us to the classic.
Classic dough shit. But yeah, what separates true friends from acquaintances? Like I know everybody has levels and different views on it, but I'll start off with Doe since his weekend was great.
Yo, friends and acquaintances. I think these things are important that you draw these lines. You got to draw them right at the, you can just draw them whatever you want. But I take pride in my friends, and I take pride in introducing people to my friends. So like you can't just introduce everybody to your group of friends, and you're like here. And then they're like, no, we don't want him. We don't want that person in our group and stuff like that. But I think it's important that you divide your friends from your acquaintances too, because like there's a level of trust there. Not a lot of people. I meet a lot of people at work, and I meet a lot of people around where I work, and like those people are my acquaintances. Now there's certain people at work, just like in the bar scene, you just get it. You're like, all right, I got your back, you got my back. We're kind of just in this together. You kind of have those people at work sometimes where you're like, I could trust him. But there's not a lot of people you could trust. And I think I gotta stop saying
That's how you think?
It is what I think. And I'll pass it off to somebody else now.
But hold on. Let's. Because you're saying friends and acquaintances. What's the difference between the two for you?
Also, I wanted to just cut in real quick. I feel like you've updated your views, and that's kind of good. I felt like in the past, Doey wanted every single one of his friends to be friends with all. Like he wanted to amass the greatest coalition of a friend group. And that shit was weird. It was like a big melting pot of of worlds that you didn't even think would ever collide. Doey made them collide for better or for worse. I hung out and met a lot of cool people that way. I also had a lot of awkward situations that way.
This is the path to Doey creating that birthday party where he's in the middle dancing and it's just all kinds of people surrounding him saying, "Go Doey."
It's your birthday. Go Doey.
Shit is terrible.
It's here. All right. One day it'll happen.
No, I mean, some would say, because you guys believe in magic, right? Like you're a wizard in a sense. You've spoken the words. Words are powerful.
Yeah.
Just by you speaking them, it's gonna happen, guaranteed.
I hope so. My birthday's
We're gonna at some point you'll have a birthday party, and if we're all together, we'll make it happen.
Are you not true friends if you don't remember each other's birthdays? Because I don't remember Doe's birthday. Is it in September?
It's in soon, September 20th.
I'm terrible at birthdays.
Send me gifts, guys.
I would not be sending you a gift.
Are you talking to us or the audience?
Anybody who wants to send me a gift can send me a gift.
I ain't sending
I'm gonna make one of those.
gifts.
I'm gonna make one of those Amazons that you can send me stuff, and then somebody can send me sunflowers if I want.
Just
If
like
you
sunflower
want or
seeds or
if
an
they
actual
want?
sunflower?
Yeah, I want sunflowers.
I ain't sending you shit.
Come on.
so what separates a true friend from an acquaintance?
So what's
So
the
your
difference?
question is, does knowing a friend's birthday make a difference in the level of friendship you have? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was saying, is that one of the things? Although
No.
Doe still needs to answer the other question I asked him because I want to know his
Wait.
difference.
I'll answer both right now. For birthdays, no, because the way I grew up, I don't remember anybody's birthday. That shit is
Because you didn't celebrate birthdays, right?
Yeah.
What was
So
the other question?
What was the other one?
what's the difference between the friends and acquaintances? Like, what's the difference for you? What makes an acquaintance or what makes a friend, like your true friend or your homeboy?
The level of trust. Like, I think every day when you get up, you put on this uniform of who you are, and the more you can reveal to people, I think that like can determine whether you trust them or not, and whether they are in your circle of friends. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to like it's hard to take off that the thing you put on every morning. This person that you are.
That's funny because I think everyone here is going to have maybe similar. I might be the most different one in views of friendship, probably because I have like levels. I just don't have two levels. There's not acquaintances and just friends. Like
You're like an onion.
no, I'm not an onion.
You're definitely a scrunion. You just said you have many layers. There's levels.
Multiples.
Every layer of an onion you could consider a level.
I love
Some-
And since
Yeah,
you're
but an
like
onion
an
has,
onion, we'll
like-
just call you a scrunion.
Wow.
Some people would call Tony the Shrek of this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, you all the viewers can guess who's not in that list for me.
Donkey.
Anyways, Mateo, what about you? What separates the two?
What separates the two? That's complicated, right? Can people move between acquaintances and friendship?
Yeah, of course,
is that
over
the
time.
natural path?
Of course.
Or are friends someone that you click with immediately? Because most of my people that I consider friends, there was immediately a click. Most of them didn't move from acquaintance to friend. I've had a few coworkers move to that friend level, because like coworker friends are different than friends, right?
Yes.
There's like a barrier that has to be crossed there.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say nothing. I was going to bring up, but I'm not going to because that's weird for Pucho. But either way, when you bring
I'm sorry,
coworkers,
what?
I was going to bring up something, but we're just going
Oh,
to
I
dead
see.
it. Yeah. So if like for you, for example, you're saying friends, like I'm saying like true friends, like people you would call your brother, right? Like those are friends. That's what you're considering a friend. And then acquaintances are just people.
I mean, we all have levels, right? Like there's like your best bros and like your friends and acquaintances. I think everyone's got at least those three levels. I don't think.
Can you have best acquaintances?
No.
For sure.
That's my
What?
dog.
You
That's
got
my
best
dog.
acquaintances.
At Chipotle. That's my dog. At Starbucks. That's my dog. At like McDonald's.
What are their
Like,
names?
for
Do they have? Do you know?
example-
Do you know all the names? You don't have to list their names. I'm just curious if you know all their names.
No, that's
I think-
his
importance
dog.
of-
I think
My
step one to
dog.
being an acquaintance is you have to know the person's name. I'm just going to
Facts.
toss that out.
And
there.
that's
Yeah.
where I come into play, boys. I always ask names and say their names so I can never forget them.
So you're saying that
Uncomfortably.
every waiter and waitress is your acquaintance because you learned their name?
Yeah.
I don't think so. But yeah, one thing I guess that I differ, well, not differ, but it's just something Mateo brought up. I don't necessarily think that a friend is someone you click with right away or anything like that. Because like, just, as an example right here, like Doey and Tony are some of the people I talk to the most. We were not like fast friends. Like we were cool. I would say we were acquaintances until we started hanging out. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I know Tony since 6th grade. I know Doey till 7th or 8th grade. And it's like, I didn't start hanging out with these guys till like almost 11th grade or 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? So it was years that I seen them say what's up and all that stuff. But I would say that Doey was one of my better acquaintances. We would laugh hysterically in class. It was always a good time. I was always happy to see him. We just weren't very like hanging out outside of
After
you know what I'm saying?
school. Yeah, we didn't hang out
Right.
after school.
So like I do think there's levels of friendship pretty much. Even just saying friends and acquaintances is kind of strange because you're trying to put them into two buckets. I think like Doey said, how much you can be yourself around people is I think speaks to one aspect of how friendly or how much of a friend you are with someone. But I don't think that speaks to everything because like I'm a fucking ghetto bastard, right? I have acquaintances that are also ghetto, so I could be myself around them. I could be full on ghetto pooch, and but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm more cool with them than with other people, So I think there's I don't know. I think like you said, I think there's levels to it. I think for me, it ultimately comes down to just like I don't know how much do I regard you as a friend or a person in my own mind. I'm also a fucking weirdo. I don't call people on their birthday. I don't hit people up like that on social media or anything like that. Even if we're super cool, like you could ask Ever, you could ask like Ray, people that when I see them, Like I get excited, I brighten up, I'm happy as fuck when I'm around them, but I'll never hit them up outside, of that setting. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't change on my end how I feel about them, but that does affect how people feel about me. They might feel like, damn, your pooch don't hit nobody up, and that's something that I got to work on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
So-
also you also don't want to be hit up on your birthday.
I hit that nigga up.
So is friendship based on the time you devote to that person, whether it's in person, like your truer friends? Do you devote more time to them? Like those are the guys you're going to go out of your way to go hit up the bar with and play video games with and do FaceTime calls with and shit like that. Is that like the true friendship? Is that the distinction there? Because I mean, I've got friends that I talk to maybe once or twice a year. Got a homeboy that moved out to Ireland, and we talk once every 6 months or so. One of my favorite people in the fucking world. But we have 2 conversations a year basically. He sends me some of his new music. We chit chat about life a little bit, and that's the last. And then I don't hear from him for 6 months.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't talk to Matt, cycling Matt. I've been talking to him more now that I've been like cycling and stuff. We both have the same app. We be liking each other's cycling events stuff. Like, but other than that, like it's nice to be connected to him because I don't really talk to him like that, but it's always good vibes when we do talk, and it's always like that. You see the connection that like originally that brought you guys together.
What, Tony? What do you got up there?
Nah, the way says something, and
it's Facebook for cycling, dude.
yeah, that's weird to me. I guess I don't know.
It's the cycling app that we like each other's cycling stuff.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Cause I know
do you
Mateo's a little weirded out by knowing how many miles or whatever you do a day. It's
motivation.
Yes, facts. I see Mateo complete his workout, and I'm like, damn, did I do enough today? Was I out there like that
That's
today?
some ego
Like,
shit. That is ego. That's the real
No,
definition of ego.
it's the
He did 30
Trackmania.
miles. I'm doing 32.
Mhm. It's that Trackmania mentality that you see the scoreboard and you see your friend. Got
you want to outclass your friend. That's ego shit.
Yeah.
I think this is some of the positive ego stuff.
No, that's
I think
positive ego. Yeah. No, you're challenging each other to do better and be better at what. Yeah, that's not always negative there, though. Not always negative. It's positive too.
Yeah,
you're the one who's trying to flip a negative, but but I don't know. I do think it's a little negative. I think it has a positive outcome, but I think the thought process is a little negative. Like the idea of like, oh, that guy did that thing. I want to be better than that guy, so I need to. And the reason why you need to be better than him, you have this mental calculus in your head that determines I'm actually above him in my mind, so I need to perform better than him. Because if who's the other cycling guy in New York that he's putting up crazy numbers? You see his shit, you never have the motivation to try to beat him because in your mind, he's higher than you on the food chain.
I could beat him on my electric bike.
Would you feel like you won?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
That's a handicap.
I don't know. I personally think seeing
That's
each
what
other's,
everybody
like,
else says, but
yeah, I think seeing each other's like how much you've worked out and things like that. I think for me, seeing that kind of stuff, it motivates in the way that like I self-reflect and think, did I do enough kind of thing? But it's not coming from a place of like I need to be better than them. Is I need to be better than me. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's the philosophy I really try to take. I'm not trying to compete against somebody else. And I used to think like that. Like I used to have that mindset of that mind frame, but it's more of trying to better myself now.
So,
but I use other people as like inspiration.
So Pooch, going back to the friends thing, do you think you can your coworker friends and your friends and then your friends like us can ever mix and they'll be fine? Would you ever want to mix the group or you think like you'd rather have it separate?
I think my preference would be for it to be separate, but I think it can mix. I mean, we've done it. Like I've hung out with my coworkers and you've been around.
Oh yeah, at the bar, right?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
And we went out to dinner one time. We went out drinking once or twice or whatever. Like that's cool. It's just like blending those worlds is kind of weird because it's like like Doey says, right? Every day you wake up and you put on a costume, so to speak. Like, this is my work face that I'm wearing. And when you bring other people around that you don't have to wear a work face with, then they act the way that maybe you don't even find acceptable around your coworkers. You know what I'm saying? So there's times where I hang out with Tony and I'm like, yo, Tony, look, we're going to show my coworkers, like, try to not be
This man
you
loves that
to the
shit.
same extent. Like, just try to chill out a little bit. Like, don't say this, don't say that. Like, because some people are weirded out. Like, everybody ain't from the ghetto. And when they hear us talk the way we talk, they might think like we sound crazy or aggressive. And in general, I don't really care how people perceive me, but I do care about my coworkers. Like, I don't want to go to work and have people treating me different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for that reason, I prefer to keep it separate. But there are times where I'm like, my coworkers invited me out for drinks and my friends are in town. I'm like, all right, fuck it. We're going to try to blend these worlds because, like, I still want to do this thing and I want to hang out with these people. I don't want to be in a position where I have to choose, But
So,
also to answer your thing, I guess I ask you a question, Mateo, because you said is a true friend. So depending on how much time you're willing to invest in a person, do you feel like you're a better friend with that guy that you talk once every 6 months than other people that you talk more often with, or like spend more time with? I guess.
I think it depends on the conversation too, because like, I don't know, man. I talk a lot. I talk a lot. That's what I do. And I don't mind talking about inane nonsense like my job and things like that with people, but like I really appreciate deep conversation. I like being able to make jokes. I like being able to have deep conversation about ridiculous things. Y'all have been around. You know the way my mind works. These weird topics that we talk about on the podcast, these are weird questions that I would just ask while I was hanging out with these guys in person. Like that's the way it works. So, I mean, our conversation tends to be pretty deep, but it's intermittent, it's every 6 months or so. So couldn't tell you. I've definitely got some friends that like maybe acquaintances that I don't have as deep conversations as I do that with my homeboy that lives across the ocean. Just kind of all depends. There's layers to this.
I like introducing people. Like, I know we already touched on this, but I love watching, like, from the back, just watching like a friendship bloom. You're just kind of like, I love it.
Let's that's a good topic for this. How do you make a friend? Like, because that'll inform us like what an actual friend is, right? So like, how do you move a person from a dude you met or a person you met into being a friend, if that's someone that you wanted to be friends with? What is y'all's method for doing so?
I have no idea. I'm gonna be completely honest. I haven't made a new friend since like college. Like pretty much once college was over, I was done making just rando friends. You know what I'm saying? And now all the people that I meet that I hang out with are all my old friends, or occasionally, me and a coworker click to an extent where we're willing to like go out and get drinks. And maybe that person becomes like more of a friend, but beyond that, I don't know. I don't know how people just make friends with people like outside of places that you have to go. Like, I have to go to school. I have to go to work. I don't know. Like, I'm not a regular at a bar like Doey is to be.
Come over my way. I could introduce you to a lot of people.
I think
the power of the drink,
even without
underestimated. Well, I mean, yeah, but it's like the one dividing line that after you're like 25 out of college, you're like, how am I gonna meet friends? And you're like, the bar. Yeah, you become I met so many people, and I was having a really hard time meeting people. Once I started going to this bar, met a great cast, a variety of unwanted people that I have as friends and friends that I actually want.
So walk me through this. First day, you go. Let's say like you're not a regular at this bar yet, right? You just show up to the bar one day,
nervous.
Ooh. You're not gonna just become friends with the regulars that are there that day, right?
I mean, it all depends on what your outward friendliness rating is. If you're able to like spark a conversation over what's going on the TV, or maybe the bartender and someone else is talking about something and you like interject with some like clever line or something like that. You could either be annoying or you could be making friends. Either
But
way,
I'm
I
talking
think
about you, like like you
I
met
want
these people on your first day.
for
Became
me,
friends with
no.
them?
I want to
You
hear this clever line that Doey has, because I know the TV that Doey watches at bars is Chive TV,
chive.
and that's all that he like wants to watch at the bar. I took him to a bar in Austin, and his first question for the bartender is if she had a way she could put Chive TV on the TV instead of the baseball game or whatever they had played.
Yeah.
Do you have Chive TV at your bar?
No.
Oh man. Oh, sad.
No Chive TV in New York, unfortunately. This is a down south thing. You know what's crazy? Twin Peaks has their own Chive TV, but it's just Twin Peaks TV, which is even cooler.
Is it?
Wow. Yeah, for the people that are unaware, Chive TV is a very strange. I think it's like an internet channel or something, and it's like people just doing amazing things, like jet skiing or jumping over this gap. But there's also a good mix of like fails. So people try to jump and they fall apart.
It's like ridiculousness with no host and all these different subject matters.
That's true. There's no host. There's not some, hey, watch how this guy goes on. No, there's none of that bullshit. It's just, there's a scene of this guy on a jet ski. He tries to make it over a gap, some jump. He doesn't make it. And then it instantly changes to some guy biking downhill. Then it changes to some dad fiddling with like a tool. And it's just a bunch of random videos like that. But
I love it.
For some reason, when it's on and you're drinking, eating some wings, it'd be us the whole time at the bar, just like, it's all you can fucking look at.
I call TikTok ADHD the app. Chive TV is ADHD the TV show.
Yeah, for sure. It's like G4 TV back in the day. I love that. I love that TV show. That's amazing. But like all the shows on there, Attack of the Show, everything on G4 TV, which they actually revamped on YouTube right now, which is nice.
So
So
you go to the bar the first time and you just have a line and you start talking to these random people. You breaking the ice after your line, and then they're just like, all right, let's invite you to our chats, or like, how do you? Because I know you're always kept to yourself most of the time. So
yes, so like in the beginning, yeah, that's what it would be. Just me, just chilling there, drinking, and then you start to realize like the bar that I go to is 1 block away, so it's very hard to be like, let me stop by for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, have a drink or two, and then get home. You know what I mean? And so I started to do that. You start to learn the people that are there. You start to learn the bartenders. For me, I got familiar with the bartenders, and then bartenders introduced me to people, and then things went along like that.
yeah, because it's go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's interesting because how, like, going back to Pucho's question, like, how do you go from somebody you met to friends? And I think it's once you hang out of where you met them. Like, if you're like, yo, I think once somebody invites you to their house, now they're opening the door of vulnerability, right? Because you're inviting somebody to your house and you still don't really know him too well, but you're trusting him enough to act right and handle shit appropriately and be around his family and friends. So I think once you do that, like, for example, I met these group of guys through my buddy John. Obviously, you guys know John. Shout out to John. I met a whole bunch of them, right? And they all play sports, adult leagues, flag football. We do kickball now or whatever. And some of them mostly all of them are fucking very outspoken and jokative and shit talkers, which is almost in my realm of world where I reside in.
You thrive in that realm.
I try not to. So, yeah, he like this guy Ebo, which his name is Eric, whatever. He
Ebo Squeezy.
John invites me to his house without even notifying him that I'm coming to his house. Right? I met this guy one time playing basketball. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, just call him, let him know I'm coming. I was raised differently. You tell people that you're bringing somebody over to their house. Bro, you're with me, you're good. This is his line. You're good, trust me. just tell him. Whatever, he texts him or whatever. We show up. I show up. He sends me the address. I show up. And John's supposed to be there. The motherfucker's not there. He said, yo, just walk in through the door. I'm like, bro, I met this guy one time. There's 30 people out in front of his house, and they're all Hispanics. They're Mexicans and shit. They're going to look at me like, who the fuck is this guy? Just go. All right, whatever. I go to the door, and I have like a bottle of Hennessy on me. And they all say, oh, what's up, man? What up, man? I'm like, oh, what's up? I'm like, all right. The door opens up. Some little girl opens it. Comes to find out it's his daughter. I walk in. Ebo comes around the corner. Yo, da, 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 da. I'm like, yo, what's up, Ebo? John told me to come through. No, you good. That's your bottle of Hennessy. All right, you drinking that shit. Da, 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 da. I'm like, I brought it for y'all, to drink, whatever. All right, cool. I sit there and it's awkward, right? Because I don't really know nobody. And this man, Ebo, just kicked like 30 niggas out of the living room so I can sit down and we can have like a game night. He's like, yo, y'all get the fuck up. Get outside, this and that. Yo, you can sit right here. Where he just kicked somebody off of the couch. I feel like a dick now. It's just so awkward, but he's being really fucking extra nice and shit. Like, kicking niggas out that are his friends or family member, whoever the fuck, and whatever. So I sat down, chill. John comes in. I'm like, yo, you're a dick. I don't know this guy, but he cool enough to kick people off his couch for me to sit down, and we're all drinking and chilling and having games. And then at that moment, that's where you break the acquaintances to like, okay, now you're like a friend. Even though you was a friend of a friend, now you're a friend. So then now you start, that's where you break a friend. Like if I bring someone to Pucho's house and Pucho don't know him, I'm more likely not going to do that. I'm going to talk to Pucho and see what's going on to check the scenery. And if it's cool, it's cool. Then they'll link up and they'll be cool. And then if Pucho feels like he's cool enough to meet up again and go to a bar later on all together, then that's how friendship builds up at that point.
It's weird how your friends vet somebody. Like,
you need that sign off.
Yeah,
you need that sign off from other friends for sure.
You have to have the sign off because you just can't, you know what I mean? Like if I bring somebody to Mateo's like, yo, I don't really, the vibes. I'm like, all right, cool. I won't bring the vibes again unless we go to a bar and then be like, yo, he's going to be there. And then, you could catch a drift again and see if y'all vibe out good. But other than that, I separate work friends, and then people I'll call like my brothers. And you know what I mean? There's a difference between all that.
Is that the distinction that you want to dig into though? Those people, like what makes you call someone your brother? Like what is that distinction from friends?
There's a like Pucho, I definitely call him one of my brothers. My cousin Juanito, who y'all know, and his cousins, his actual cousins, these are people I consider my brother. Even Doughboy is considered a brother of mine. I was waiting a little bit, Doughboy, because I wanted that energy, that emotional face of yours to kind of build up. Like, you better say my name. But
you know what's fucking weird? You know what's fucking weird is that like there are people that I consider like they're like at that brotherhood level, but they're still like. It's not like for example, someone I consider yo, that person's like a brother, and another person that's at that same level. I don't even bring those people around each other still. Like that shit is like Tony's saying. Tony's saying he considers me a brother. He considers his cousin Juanito. I don't know this guy at all, but right, somehow we're all brothers, right? Like I think there's still like a weirdness in mixing worlds.
No,
that yeah. I don't know when it becomes easy to just mix it. Like,
at a party.
Remember when I tried to introduce y'all to Mookie? That was a clash of the worlds.
Was it?
It was for him, for Mookie. He never met people like that before. Like he's like, Pucho.
Okay, I thought there was more. That was the end of it. I didn't know. Yeah, Mookie was cool. I never had a problem with Mookie. My only issue was I'd be chilling, vibing at Doe's crib, having a good time. As soon as Mookie came through, Doe would be like, "That's it. We need to play trap music at maximum volume for the next 4 hours straight." I'd be like, "Nah, I can't take this." So after a little bit, I'd be like, "Yo, I love you guys. Yo, I gotta go. Like, yo, my mom's cooking. I gotta break." Like. I don't want nobody to feel bad like I'm just dipping because they're around. Like that's definitely not.
Yeah,
it wasn't the case. It was just that vibe wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's an example of you're mixing two worlds. Like there's a bunch of other friends of yours that would totally thrive in that vibe. And it ain't for me. So it's like, all right, if this is what the scenery is going to be like for a little while, it don't got nothing to do with about the people there. It's just, I don't know. I'm going to break. Like I was never like a smoker, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of my friends growing up were smokers, right? I don't got a problem with them. Like, they smoke, that's cool. But then there comes a moment where there's so many smokers in the room that the room is just hotboxed. It's just a cloud. And it's like, okay, that's a level too far. Like, I'm getting high in this room now. I need to just break. Like, this ain't my scene. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's levels like that even if they're your brother or this or that, it's like they still don't mix with every crowd,
Yeah. But still though, like for the most part, most of the people I hang out with are almost some ways similar in some aspects. Some are a lot louder than others. Some are a lot more forward. But for the most part, like if I have an event or a party and I invite everybody's kind of blending in. Everybody's a little bit segregated at the party sometimes, but it kind of still bridges the gap. Everybody still be like, "Oh, what's up?" Or people are more able to reach out, I guess. Like my friends, like they're not going to be closed off. They'll actually come up and try to talk to you, whether they know you for a little bit or don't know you. It's just how that goes. But yeah, I think there is a line of people, like there's brothers, there's close friends, and then coworkers.
I think a good rule of thumb is, that question that everyone answers the same way with 90% of the people they know. You ask someone how they're doing. How you doing? And the answer is supposed to be, I'm doing fine, or some variation of that. How are you doing? That's supposed to be the answer to that question. There is a right answer to that question. That's what the right answer to that question is. Your friend, your true friend, you can actually answer that question honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I get it.
But you run into someone on the street, you're talking to your bartender at your bar, you're talking to your boss, and they ask, how you doing? The answer is, I'm all right. How are you doing? It's like, I'm good.
Depending on how close you are with your bartender, bartenders can become therapists very quickly.
I don't know. I think I can answer that question the same almost with everybody. Like even some rando at a bar. Like if he tells me, "Yo, how you doing, bro? What's going on?" I'm be like, "Man, I'm looking at this Cowboys game. It's not looking too good, but how are you straight, bro?" I'm just vibing. I can talk to people like that.
I feel like that's the conversational equivalent of I'm fine though. You're not going to be like, "Oh man, me and my wife were having problems. My kid is driving me crazy."
No, yeah, it depends. It's like you can. That's like an icebreaker too, though, right? Because he asked me that question. It's like, all right, you're inviting my problems now, so let me break it down to you. My fucking son doesn't let me sleep. And then he'll be like, yo, me too. Shots? Bet. Now we're drinking buddies. We're bar buddies. That's a whole different friendship too, by the way.
That is a different category.
Yep.
Tony's like, that's another thing that it's always bugged me about having friends, because I'm a weirdo, right? Like while I'm hanging out and out and about and stuff like that, I could appear to be like a social butterfly. Like I talk to people, I'm trying to have a good time, like stuff like that. Really, that's not my real personality. I'm like a little closed off. I like to just be in my comfort zones. You know what I'm saying? And I always find it weird. Like for me to consider someone a friend, it takes like a while. Like it takes like a number of times that I see a person, hang out with them, break bread with them, and then I'm like, all right, cool. This person is now an acquaintance, like after some period of time. And when I see them, we'll be cordial and all of that. But like, I'm probably still not going to hit them up to hang out separately. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always weird for me with my other friends that they don't have like a high standard like that. Like Tony said, he met a guy one time, and then when he went to his house, he cleared the couch so he could sit. Now we're friends. I'm like, holy shit, we're not. Like me, I'm like, no way. Like, no way, Jose. Like we played basketball once and I sat in a chair. Like, I'm like, we ain't that cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's always
it's the levels for you. Like friends for me is like acquaintance for you, I guess. And sure. And then that's why there's like homeboys, or it's just levels. Like I'm pretty good at gauging people's vibes. Like if I feel like if I feel like I can't leave money around you, you're not my friend. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I
Would
can
you leave money around the guy you played basketball one time with, and then he sat you on his couch?
No, I'm saying like with your close friends, like
I mean, okay,
these,
now close friend.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm saying like there's
You
levels.
say he was your friend, and then now you're saying if you could leave money around a person, they're a friend. Yeah, I don't leave money around almost nobody.
I don't need it. Neither do I. I don't want to, but I'm just saying like when it comes to it, like I wouldn't mind like a close friend of mine's like it's just levels. That's it. That's all I'm saying. There's levels.
You know how weird I am? I'd be having anxiety, right? Every now and again, I'll have someone around that isn't typically around, and maybe they invite a person. And in my mind, this isn't a good situation anymore. Like, I'm like, hold on. Like, I didn't account for some randos or people that I don't really know being around. And then when they leave, I just have this thing in the back of my head.
So look,
is anything missing? Like I gotta like look around my house real quick. Yeah, I'm just not. I swear to God, I'm not used to certain people being around. And like when there's a face around that's not vetted to me, like typically they wouldn't be here, but they're here because of somebody else. And it's like, you're trying to be a good host, so you're not gonna tell somebody like, nah, don't like they're like, oh, could I invite my cousin over? And you're like, yeah. Sometimes I tell them, I'll be like, nah, like, and that ain't the vibe, yo.
You kind of fucked up now, Pooch, by telling me this. Because now when some new one comes around, I'm just gonna just grab something and hide it for a little bit and just fuck with you and be like, yo, where's this at? You're gonna be like,
that's terrible.
I wouldn't do that shit.
Those are true friends.
Terrible.
These are true friends.
Make me want to kill that person because I'd be like, I know that was that person. Now I don't trust you. You've just went down a couple pegs.
Pucho,
no longer a brother.
I've never.
That shit's quick. That's just quick. You see that, boys?
Yeah.
That's how quick it is.
I hope that no one ever goes over to Tony's house and finds that Ouija board that I left there and takes that.
Exactly.
That would be a real shame.
I don't even think you came in my house.
I definitely went to your house. I met your mother-in-law.
Yeah, if you put that shit in my fucking house, Mateo, I swear to you.
I'm surprised you haven't found it yet, dude.
Whatever.
Fucking asshole. I also, all right, so the way Pucho behaves, he also attracts a type of person too. I've never seen someone gain such a bop for fucking Sweet Caroline. Since when I was at the bar with Pucho. Pucho ignited the bar. They saw Pucho.
His voice.
Yeah. He ignited the bar. Everyone saw Pucho start to go crazy. Bop. Yo, the whole bar started bop, bop.
That's Pucho's alternate ego. That's when Pucho has a couple drinks and he's a social Pucho. That's when he wants to meet friends.
Nah, none of those people are going to be my friends. I like to have a good time. It's different. That's what I'm saying. I could appear to be a social butterfly. Like I want to have a good time. Meeting people, chatting, all that stuff makes for a good time. But I ain't going to go back and be like, yep, that's my friend now. Let's exchange numbers. We're going to hang out. Like, nah, we just sang a song at a bar. And maybe we do that a couple more times. I'll greet you when we bump into each other, but I ain't going to call you my friend. Like, that's like, that shit is, that's a level. I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right.
Oh. But nah, for sure. People could definitely go up in the social hierarchy. Like a perfect example, not even trying to shit on nobody because like I said, Doey was an acquaintance first, but like Zeus, right? Zeus was Doey's friend. Really Doey's family, right? Through like marriage and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. For him, I didn't know that guy at all. And now over the years and talking to him, hanging out with him, I consider him a close friend, right? But that's someone who went from zero to where he is now just off the strength of interactions. You know what I'm saying? And that, and that's different than I don't know. Some people, like you said, Mateo, some people feel like if we're not fast friends, that we'll never really be friends, And that's not the type of, like, there are a few people in my life that we met and we clicked and we've been friends right off the bat, but that's rare. I'm a slow, like we gotta build up to me being comfortable enough to be like, I like this guy, like I want him around. You know what I mean?
I might be slightly judgmental, but I tend to trust my gut instinct, and that at least tells me if someone is going to be stuck just as an acquaintance, or if I'm going to actually make an effort to move them into another category or something. It doesn't mean they're instantly friends, but it means that like I see like, okay, this person I might just bond with pretty well. It's a shame our host is missing. I think it's about time that we swap topics, although we probably need to just come back to this one at some point. I think there's a lot of meat left here.
Yeah. So
It's good.
what we're going to talk about next is a very philosophical and could get pretty political depending on where the conversation goes.
Yeah.
But the question is, when is a person alive? And are you alive when you sleep?
That is a good question.
I could tell you just off rip what the MD people say, like scientists say about when you are alive. And it says here, according to some studies or whatever, right? This is off the internet, that the fetus in 16 weeks is when they considered that human to be alive. That's when you're alive.
Immediately going into a political.
Facts. And that's not true at all.
No, I'm just telling you what its actual shit says online. I checked 2 different websites.
It's not saying alive.
They also say sleep is the cousin of death.
No, I think Nas said that.
Yeah, that's that hardest Nas song, right? New York State of Mind. Shout out to my boy from Queensbridge. Not really my boy. I just listened to him my whole life. But no, I don't think science is. Maybe science could give that answer, but I don't think it really can.
So when do you think you're alive? When your heart beats for the first time?
No.
I mean, that's what they're like. What is alive? Like, what? Like, because to me, when I'm saying when is a person alive is like actual breathing, like your body living, or are we like, or alive? Like, how do you?
I don't think you could breathe at 16 weeks.
I mean, there's a lot of complication here, right? Because if we say yes, right? If yes, your heart beats, that's a sign you're alive, right? Does that mean that taking people off, like people that are in vegetative states, people that are in comas, things like that, does that mean we shouldn't bother giving them the breathing apparatuses because they can't support their own heartbeat, so they're therefore not alive? If you put people under and you have to intubate them and put tubes in and support their life, does that mean they're no longer alive because they can't support themselves? If you took them off that shit, they would die. Like, does that make some things like that? Does that make it murder rather than like, making a medical decision of whether to keep someone in a coma or not?
Yeah, I mean, I guess very specifically, murder is like a legal definition, not really like a moral one. Mm-hmm. So it's a little weird there. Like, but
would it be killing them by negligence? Would it be? I don't know.
I think disconnecting somebody is killing them. Like, but I don't want to use the word murder because it has a moral. Like it's a negative, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whereas killing is still negative, but it's like it doesn't quite have, people that want to feel better at night, they'll say, no, we just let them go. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yeah, you're killing them. But I don't know. I have 2 answers, right, to this question. When is a person alive? One they contradict with each other too, because there's something I'm still trying to wrestle with in my mind. But like, I feel like the easy answer is the moment that a sperm fertilizes an egg and you produce a zygote. I think that's the simplest answer. That's the beginning of life. Like, these 2 things clash and it creates the thing that will be you until the day you die. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the easy answer. But I've been wrestling with this other idea where it's just like once you have like conscious experiences, is like like the moment that you're alive, and then once you cease to have conscious experiences, so you die, you sleep forever, pretty much. You're no longer alive. But then you don't really have conscious experiences when you sleep. So are you dying repeatedly throughout your life? Like, so I don't know. It gets a little, it gets weird.
Would you consider dreaming as a way of consciousness? Like,
no. I mean, that's happening. unconsciously.
Well,
You're
it's-
not aware.
It
You
sounds
can
like you're a
wait.
fan. It sounds like you're a fan of dualism, almost, Pucho. You know the concept of dualism. Dualism is the
Duality?
no dualism. Well, it's duality, but it's the concept that you exist as basically two things. You're your body and your mind. They're two separate things. So you're like your body question of when is a body alive is the sperm. The sperm fertilizes the egg, and that's when the body is alive. But the mind is alive when you're able to actually have experiences and learn and grow and experience and have life, basically.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I lean more to your mind, because one thought experiment that has always, well, not always, but it's just something that I never really thought about. And once I did, it kind of tripped me up a little bit. But it was like the idea of like, what part of your body is you? Like,
What
and
do you
it's
mean?
like, well, yeah, exactly. Say we chop your leg off. Which part? Now there's Tony's leg and the rest of Tony's body, right? Which piece is actually Tony now?
The rest of the body.
Right. You wouldn't consider the leg to be Tony. Like, that thing is gone. How much of you would you have to cut away that you would say you're no longer you? And I think you could just be a head and still, like, if you could be alive and just be a head, I think because that's where your brain is, you could feel like you're still you. And so it feels like you're not attached to any one part of your body. Like, and your body's not you, so to speak. Like, your conscious experience, like what your mind is, right? It's consciousness, like, and I don't know. But before then, I'd always just didn't really think about it. But I don't know. I don't really consider my body to be me necessarily.
That's weird because that just makes me think like kids that have or like a disability, like they don't really, like they can't do normal functions. Does that mean that they're alive? Like they're like, because they're like, I mean, obviously body wise they're alive, right? But mentally, you're saying that if your mental's not conscious, or you're not like thinking or whatever, then that is you're ceasing. Like you're not alive at that point. You cease to exist, I guess, in a way. So it's just weird because to me, I would say that you got a heartbeat and you're looking at things and you can comprehend it. I think that's when you're alive. In my
What's
book.
that last bit mean? When you could look at things and comprehend.
Like I'm looking at this monitor and I see that there's three of you here, and there's a like my brain is registering everything that I'm looking at. That's when I think and it affects you in some emotional states. Like it makes you happy, sad, angry. Like I think that's when you're alive. Like you feel like the feelings. Like you can, your brain is telling you to feel away, and your whole body reacts to it. And I think that's, to me, is when you're alive. Like even when you're having an adrenaline rush, that's like your fucking body's like, it's a rush. Like that's feeling alive. That's, people do things like drugs or whatever to feel that alive, or cocaine. Like you're just at another hyper stage of shit. To me, that's alive to me. Like feeling shit and registering it. But I don't know.
At what age do you think like a human is capable of looking at a monitor and feeling something, I guess?
Young as a kid. I mean,
Well, like, yeah, what age?
Luca's like what, 3 months right now, so he can look at the TV when we don't let him, but when he looks at a TV screen for a split second, he sits there and I could tell he's analyzing what the fuck he's looking at. He's trying to figure out what he's looking at. That to me, even before that, I think he's alive. But that to me would be like he's alive because he's analyzing and seeing it.
I'm saying, but so you're saying at least 3 months, right? But I'm saying like I don't think that a baby just born, they can't even see like when they're born.
Yeah, they have to be like really close. Yeah.
Right. So it feels like by that definition, you're saying that like when a baby's first born, that they're not really even alive because they can't really look at certain things and really like try to
They can see the person in front of them. When you're holding a baby, they can see it's blurry, but they can see they can see it. It's blurry, but they can see it and they can react. And then their body reacts because their mind's telling them that they're hungry, so they cry because they want to be fed. So they're alive. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
where. And mind you, I'm not an expert in this field. I'm just basing it off of my own opinions and my feelings on it.
Yeah,
Well-
I don't. To be honest, I've read into this a bit. I don't think that science is gonna be. This is not a question of science. I don't think. That's why when you start the conversation off at 18 weeks is when at 18 weeks your definition fails. You know what I'm saying? Like if you rip that baby out of that womb, they're not gonna be able to look at them. They don't have eyes to process things. So they can't interpret or have conscious experience. So it's like they're not alive then, like by that definition. And I mean, there's a whole half of the country that would disagree, right? At 18 weeks, that's a baby to people,
Well, technically, if you want to say vision is one of the reasons of why you could be alive, bats in cave use echolocation.
No, I'm sure. I'm saying you said that. You said that.
I'm saying off of the thing. That wasn't my belief. I was like giving us a ground level what they think. And then,
I think you're mincing two different. I'm saying you brought up the idea that when someone could look at the world and interpret what they're viewing, that's being alive. And I don't really disagree from that because I think that's the more complicated forms of consciousness. I think even when you're in the womb, kicking in response to certain music and things like that, like those are conscious experiences. Like that baby is doing stuff in response to the world, right? They have they're getting stimulated by things. Like there were certain songs that I could play that my daughter would start kicking, like when she was in the womb and stuff. And that to me, that's a form of some conscious experience. Where that begins is weird because it's not going to be the same for everybody.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that basically. I'm not necessarily saying that, if you don't have a conscious experience, you could, that's it. You could kill them and it wouldn't be anything. You know what I'm saying? But basically, there's a value that we're putting on. Like we're valuing something when we consider a person to be a person. You know what I'm saying? And even if at 18 weeks, right, we're saying, we consider that thing to be alive. You consider it to be alive even before that in most cases. Because like if there was a woman that was pregnant, say 10 weeks, and someone punched her in the gut and she lost her child, you wouldn't be like, it doesn't matter, that baby wasn't even alive yet. You know what I'm saying? Like that would not be anybody's view.
And
everybody
if it is, you're a pure dick.
Right? Like and there's a difference, right? Like between somebody who does that or someone who just punches a random woman in the stomach or whatever. Like, that guy's an asshole or a piece of shit for assaulting someone, but this guy is an additional piece of shit because he assaulted someone and he killed, this woman's baby, So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, even day one, even the people that are all pro like choice who are like, there's some people that think like it's not a baby, it doesn't matter. Like we don't give a shit. Like you could abort it all we want. Like even those people, if you told them that someone could kill their kid without their consent, like they would view it as you killed a kid. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like it gets a little weird. Like I don't know how like what the value is that people are putting on these things. Like I don't know. It's something that I struggle within myself, and I don't even think anybody really has an answer.
I think a lot of it comes down to body autonomy, honestly, because I'm pro-choice. I don't think that it's anyone's place to legislate a body, like that particular aspect of women's reproduction. I don't think there should be any legislation on that. I think it would be incredibly rare to see a woman terminate a pregnancy after a certain point in time. I don't know what that time would be, but I don't think we'd see a sudden like increase in like late term abortions or anything like that if we took away all the legislation that was blocking things like that.
The only thing I have not a problem, right? Because I'm pro-choice too. And I said that with a question mark because, for example, let's say my significant other gets pregnant, and she doesn't want the baby, but I want the baby. I understand that it's her body that changes, and it's really her choice. I get that, but that's still life in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like Pucho says, like once the sperm hits, it creates, and it starts the process, that's life now, right? And to
Gotta
me,
say that's human life, because a
yeah,
lot
my
of these
bad.
people would be like, "Oh, well, a plant is life, and you
Yeah.
don't care about plant," you know. But
No, yeah, human life. Thank you, Pooch. I still want the child. I get that you don't want the child because you're going to carry it for 9 months, but some people be like, well, that's her choice. It's pro-choice, you know? But I feel like
would be
two people should make, if they're together types, and it's different, right? Because I wouldn't want to abort the kid. I don't believe in abortions as you know what I mean? I don't like that. There's some things, you know, rape, and there's a lot of, it goes deep. But me personally, with my significant other, if she get pregnant, I don't believe in abortions. If you don't want the kid, then we'll work out our differences, and as a relationship, I'll take the kid and you can move on or whatever we figure out, right? But I personally don't believe in abortion.
my problem with that would be I don't think that you can force someone to do something that's going to permanently alter their body.
Yeah, and that's the,
because
difficulty.
there's hormonal changes, there's all kinds of crazy shit that happens during pregnancy. You guys know this. You guys have both been through a pregnancy. So that would be my reason for why it doesn't matter whether the man wants the kid or not. The
Yeah, and
woman
this is
the
difficult
decider
too.
on that.
It's real difficult, Mateo, because it's like, you know, if Emily didn't want Luca, like, you know what I mean? Like, this kid brings joy to my life. So it's just like, it sucks. But, you know, that's pro-choice, and I see good and the negative in it. And me personally, like, if I could, I'll be like a seahorse. Give me the child. I'll bear the child. And you know what I mean? Because, like, you know, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, that's going to be it.
I mean, that'd be cool if that was possible. Yeah,
but
I don't know. With the whole it's an unfair situation that like you know, two people could get together, do something, and one person has the ultimate power to decide whether that baby's born or not. And there's a power imbalance there, and I think it stems from the fact that there's a responsibility imbalance too. Is that like one person has to bear so much more responsibility than the other person? That person tends to have so much more power than the other person.
Yeah,
with a Spider-Man quote, right? With great power comes great responsibility, right? Like, and you know, whatever, like that. Well, I mean, I'm not saying whatever, like saying it lightly, right? I'm just saying there's a power imbalance there, and it's fucked up, and you know, and at the detriment to men. But pregnancy is also at the detriment to women, so that's, you know, I don't know.
Now
I mean, I got a hot take that something that you just said, Tony, because I've heard a lot of people give a lot of people give exception to abortion when it comes to rape, which I find the very interesting. Like, it's a very interesting thought, in my opinion. Like, it's because it's like you're basically saying because there was a rape, this baby has less right to be alive. And I find that like a strange thought. Like I my view is that, like, if you're pro-life, then you should be also equally pro-life in the cases of rape, because the baby is still a baby, no matter how it was conceived. Like I'm not saying that, I'm not endorsing fucking rapes or anything like that. That's fucking horrible. I'm saying though, like, this baby it doesn't matter how it came to be, like, it's still alive by your by a pro-lifer's previous metric, and you're basically making an exception to kill someone, like, by your, you know, by your language, I guess, not you, but by, you know, from a pro-lifer's perspective.
I think that the legal abortion aspect of this is interesting. I think that's a whole topic on its own. I like the philosophical side of this a lot more. Of, is it a stream of consciousness? Is that what defines life? Like, there's a lot that throws off a lot of philosophical like discussion on this, because you can bring up, for example, I had a cousin that he was born with spina bifida. He was born deaf. He was born blind. he was not able to survive on his own. He required a lot of care from my aunt and my uncle and their kids. There's a lot of philosophical like definitions of what life is that do not include him being alive, because he did not have like, we don't know whether he had the ability to have a stream of consciousness. We don't know if he even carried memories from day to day. Like it's complicated. It's a very complicated issue to figure out what's going on with people that are incommunicative and have that level of health and mental issues going on. And they throw off a lot of these philosophical like discussions.
Yeah. And that's deep too. Because it's like, if he's, and mind you, I'm going to try to be really careful how I speak here, because, obviously it's family members and stuff. Deaf and blind. You can't hear nothing. You can't see nothing. So what is your mind holding? What like, I can't comprehend how that is or how that feeling is, but and what we're speaking of, like our examples, yeah, his life is not a life, right? Example wise. But to the parents who love this kid, is it selfish on their end to keep him alive? Versus,
I think my aunt would never have argued that my cousin wasn't alive. And I think it's a little bit of that duality thing. Like, you could see him move. He had the ability to move. He was in a wheelchair. Like there was, but obviously his body was fully alive. Like there was no doubt, he's breathing on his own. He's moving. The mind aspect is complicated. I mean, shit, even people that are in comas, like the family members will go and gather and watch them, and they'll be like, oh, when I said this, their eyelids fluttered a little bit. That to me means that they are fully alive in there. They're still in there. And that's a complicated thing on its own, whether like there's brain function and what level of consciousness is still remains inside of a person that's trapped in their body like that.
Yeah, I have a deaf cousin. She cannot speak. I don't know if she's deaf mute, but she speaks, but she just can communicate through ASL and stuff like that. So, I mean, she still ended up having a very fulfilling life. 3 kids, 2 twins.
That's awesome.
She's doing.
No, but I think that's different though than like the topic we're looking at. I mean, obviously she's fully present. She's just missing one sense, like that.
His cousin's missing 2 senses.
I haven't never read that people with spina bifida might not have a conscious experience. I've never even I never heard of that. I was always under the impression that like their sensory situation is kind of fucked, for lack of a better term, but that they're still present, like they're having a conscious experience with the tools that they're born with. You know what I'm saying?
and that would be the argument that I would subscribe to. I mean, like, I don't know what the world was like for him. I know that his experience in the world was way different than mine. He wasn't able to communicate very well. I think he could squeeze, but there's a lot of questions that I had that I never got asked, that I never had the opportunity to ask, or never like was willing to ask, because I was so curious about the situation. So I think it's interesting to discuss like what is life, and does it have to be like, is there a certain quality of life that life has to hit for you consider it life? Like where does that come in? Because some people would argue otherwise. I mean, like there's some philosophical just like definitions of what makes life, where it's like, well, shit, there's a lot that can throw these arguments off.
Yeah, I mean, anything you say, it's gonna come off wrong in some way, somehow. Like you try to tread the waters lightly there, because and that's probably me being selfish. Like if, God forbid, my child or anybody, like like if they can't, like, is that a life for them? Like, it's like almost like your dog's dying slowly. Like, do you put him down because you don't want him to suffer? Or it gets to this area where you're just sitting there contemplating, like, is this fair to him? Even though it's going to hurt me to lose this person, is it fair for them?
It's I mean, I think it's got to be some kind of combination of things, right? Like, you can't go straight like you can't go straight body. You can't use your definition of life as like a heartbeat and the ability to breathe and things like that, because there's people that need assistance to do that and are fully mentally there. I mean, that's the thing. If you need a pacemaker, does that mean that you're no longer alive because your body's not able to beat its own heart anymore? Is that like? But there also has to be the mind aspect to it.
Wait, what are you saying? To though, just to clarify,
pacemaker. So this pacemaker comment.
He's agreeing.
He's agreeing.
Even
Okay,
if you need a pacemaker, you're still alive.
No,
Yeah.
I'm making sure because it could come across like
and I mean that's the logical answer. No one's going to argue. Nope, these people with pacemakers are fucking zombies. It's the obvious answer. Like it does, like that doesn't change your level, like whether you're alive or not. But the mind aspect doesn't fully answer the question either, because you can be born without the ability to live a fully mentally capable life, right? Like that is 100% a thing. There's lots of disabilities out there. There's lots of problems that can happen during pregnancy and during birth that can cause people to have a lessened mental experience. And if someone is stuck in like a non-communicative state, it's hard to know what level of consciousness that person is actually experiencing.
Yeah.
So it's got to be some combination of the two.
It's definitely.
I don't know what the combination is. I have no idea what the answer to this question is.
Which is why I say I don't think this is a question that science could answer. Like, there's no. This is purely philosophical or it's not necessarily emotional. It's just where in life, like, what is it that you find value in? Like, so, like, because for example, another hot take. I don't really care for animals like that. Like you know, people are like, oh, this whale died. Oh, that's so sad. Or that monkey that I don't give a shit. Like, you know, I understand that.
You didn't care about Harambe?
No one actually cared about Harambe. It was just a bunch of meme lords on the internet.
People cared about Harambe. I remember people saying, who's the piece of shit that shot him? They were trying to figure, like, it seemed like people, I don't know. Anyways, I think like you can make emotional like attachments to anything. Like, I have a dog. I love my dog. Like, I have an emotional attachment to my dog. That doesn't necessarily mean that I have the belief that all dogs deserve to live and blah, blah, blah. No, I have an emotional attachment to my dog the same way that you could have an emotional attachment to anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be upset if someone hit my car, you know what I'm saying? But my car's not alive. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Sorry, I lost track of how this comment related to where I started. But ultimately what I was trying to get at was like, you know, we see value in certain things, right? And it's not necessarily life, right? Because a plant is alive, a tree is alive, bugs are alive, right? So there's something that differentiates those things for most people. There are people that are like super gung-ho about, like, you know, not even these vegans, like, they might need to reframe their beliefs. Like, you know, these plants are alive, man. You ever seen them Venus flytraps? They kill shit. They eat shit. Like that shit's a plant. Like,
that's one of the few
trees
plants
communicate.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
trees communicate to each other.
It's one of the few plants that are, wow, word just slipped my
carnivore.
Mind. Yeah, carnivore. Thank you. Just slipped.
Carnivorous.
Yeah, and I think that plant is amazing to me. I've gotten the plant once. This is a tangent, but I've gotten the Venus flytrap once, and it sprouted like 6 of these little mouths. And bro, when it catches a fly, it's fucking crazy. Like, it's just like that right there tells you that plant is alive, right? Like without the plants, there'll be no bees, right? There'll be like shit starts from plants. Like, we wouldn't have oxygen. We wouldn't some would say vegans are attacking life support here on Earth, but that's just me.
More so than us carnivores, for sure.
Would some people say that?
No, I don't think a Venus flytrap's alive, bro. So that's my point. Is that, like, even that level of autonomy, I don't see life in that. Like, I don't value. Like, sorry, it's clearly alive. I'm saying I don't care if it gets killed. You know what I'm saying? And there's a point where there's a life that I value. For me, it's mainly just humans. Like, I care about human life, right? like if someone gets killed, like I think that's fucked up, or wrong, or whatever, right? I'm not gonna feel bad about anybody killing a Venus flytrap ever. Like, it's not gonna happen. Never, ever. Never.
What if it belonged to like a little boy and someone went and just smashed it in front of him?
Oh, I wouldn't care about the fly
You
trap
wouldn't care.
itself.
You would care about his feelings being hurt because someone destroyed it. Yeah,
I feel like you're taking away that child's autonomy, of possession or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's fucked up.
God forbid someone comes and kills Daniel Tiger. Pucho will be tight.
I'll be fucking livid. My daughter depends on this guy for all types of shit. That's me forming an emotional attachment to a little puppet. You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
And yeah, you could have value in emotional attachments, but that doesn't
fair.
mean that those things are worthy of life across the board.
You could traumatize an entire generation of children by tossing an Elmo doll into a wood chipper or something. That doll would be alive for them.
And my daughter loves Elmo too. She feeds Elmo. She sits him down. She'll take like scoops of cereal. She'll eat some. She'll take some and give it to Elmo. And
sharing is caring.
She's very cute kid. If I killed Elmo, she'd be traumatized by that. She might hate me for a while.
This is a great segue into my next thing.
Wait, so is that the final answer though? Before we segue, is the final answer? We don't fucking know.
We don't. It's all opinionated. Yeah, it's all pretty much opinions. Like I could say one thing, you could say another thing. It's really based on your opinions and the way what you think life is. Like even
then it gets crazy when you try to legislate for this type of shit. Like then it gets super difficult. Like, how do you make laws around this shit? That and I think that's why there's two halves to a country, and I mean not even two halves, but there's two large groups that have very strong disagreements. But also, I just want to say I conflated pro-choice with people that don't value like the life of like a baby in the womb. I don't think that's the case. I know that there are people that are like, that baby ain't alive. Like it doesn't matter. It's just like oh, the thing you call a heartbeat. That's just like a neuron or like electricity or something. Like they try to like downplay like whether this thing's alive or not. Which is what I know. I know it's not a belief of pro-choicers. Like, but it's something that when I said it, I conflated it, and that's not what I meant to say. I just want to correct myself. But anyways.
So the where I was going with is the
Killing Elmos, wood chippers.
What wood chippers is like? What do you fear, and why? Like, what is your deepest fear? What are your fears? Like what fucking scares you, and the reason why?
I got one, and it relates a lot to our previous topic.
Damn it, you're taking my answer.
Because the scariest fucking thing in the world to me would be for me to end up in some kind of vegetative state or something and be stuck in my mind only, just trapped in my body. I've read stories about people that were trapped in comas and they were fully mentally lucid the entire time. And that sounds terrible. That sounds like the worst thing in the world. I've told my buddies, I was like, if I ever end up in some kind of state like that, I need someone to $1 million baby me. I need someone to just take me the fuck out.
Oh, wow. You'd want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Mateo, after the
I think I'm claustrophobic, and I think this is the ultimate version of the claustrophobia fear for me. Because the other thing that scares me, spelunking. You ever see that movie, The Descent?
Oh, Descent.
They go in there and explore in that cave, right? And that movie is scary as shit. So much scarier before the creatures show up in the second half of the movie. The first half of that movie where they're just lost in a cave and they're getting stuck and crawling through little tiny caverns, that's the scariest part of that movie.
Claustrophobia, huh?
Yeah, I can't do that shit.
But yeah, Mateo,
I don't know if I am like a little bit claustrophobic or not. I don't ever experience like this discomfort like in my day-to-day life. Like I had a cousin that would like, even if you wrapped him with a blanket, he'd fucking start freaking out. Like he doesn't want to be content, right? I don't experience that at all. But like I remember watching a video of these scuba divers. They were swimming in like one of these underwater caves, and one like the way that they were just like squeezing through these little rock holes to get past things, like I couldn't, like watching it was getting me like so nervous. Like it got to a point where he couldn't fit through with his air tank, and he had to take his air tank off even though he still had it connected to his mouth, he had to take the air tank off to like fit through and then kind of pull it through. And that was so nerve-wracking to me that I'm like, dude, he's in a fucking cave. If this goes wrong, he's dead right there, done. He's gonna drown. Like I don't know. So yeah, that shit is terrifying. But to your thing, Mateo, I don't know if you'd feel that way. So something close to being stuck in a coma. I experience this every couple weeks.
Sleep
where
paralysis.
I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I just can't move.
Sleep
Like,
paralysis.
Right. I have sleep paralysis sometimes, right? And the shit is strange because like I could see my room, even though I think in reality my eyes are closed. I think your mind is like recreating like where you were or whatever. But and your mind is like halfway awake. Like you're like half conscious or you are conscious and your body's not awake and you can't fucking move. And I'm telling you, man, in those situations, all I want to do is fucking live. Like I don't want to die.
Dude, I also get sleep paralysis, but mine is usually like I'll see shadow people. I'll feel hands pulling me into the bed, or the worst one is I'll be there, unable to move, staring at the ceiling, and I'll hear someone breaking into my house.
Yep. Oh,
that's
man.
the one. That's the fucked up one.
Yeah, that gets me sometimes.
I don't ever have these issues. You know what's my issue? My brain has created this alternate reality that is my sleep world, and I just cycle through the same dreams over and over. I have a lot of reoccurring dreams. It's weird.
Huh.
Wait, is that a fear of yours though? What's your fear?
we tangented immediately.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that shit was that one left.
No. We're talking about claustrophobia, and I'm making a comment to Mateo's.
I have a fear of heights, but I
Do you
love
really?
roller coasters. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a huge fear of heights.
We did
Like-
find out that Doey's scared of space travel.
Yes.
I would love it and hate it at the same time.
I'm scared of a lot of things. Like I get anxious, like just in a lot of different situations. Like I remember we went to this bachelor party, and I don't know, we ended up on the roof of this hotel. We were just like having drinks up there, and but this wasn't like that type of setting. We're standing on top of a hotel that didn't mean to have people on top of it, right? And it just felt so surreal to like walk to the edge of this, 15-story, 20-story building, and it doesn't have a rail or anything like that. And just standing near that thing, I was nervous as hell. Like I
Yeah.
felt like I was gonna die. Like, but I don't have that feeling on like if in that same situation, but the balcony had like a rail or something. Like I wouldn't feel that way. Or if I was on a roller coaster. Another place where I experienced that type of fear is like I've been on a few cruises. At night, the ocean is pitch black. You can't see anything. Like the moon is really the only thing that exists out in the ocean. Like you can see the stars, but it's just not a light. And again, when you walk to the edge of the ship and you just look over to pure black, you're just like, if you fell from here, not only would you probably, break bones or be in like a severe trauma, even if you could just perfectly just be placed in the water, you're fucking dead. Like you can't see shit. Nobody's gonna see you. I've been at the back of this ship and I'm like, dude, if I fell off the back of this thing, nobody would ever know that I fell off. Like, I don't know. The shit is fucking nuts. And I don't know. It's like a feeling of impending doom. Like I'm just like, oh my God, this is gonna end so wrong. Like, and I have to like step away or something. I don't know. That shit freaks me out.
Nah, yeah, that's I was there with you. We both shared that same mutual feeling when it came to that, because it's just darkness. It's just like, fuck, we fall, no one's gonna know, and you're just gonna die. Shark or something's gonna come by and just swallow you up if you don't freeze to death or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Getting killed by a shark is like, you got killed. Like that's less scary. What's more scary is like, what if you're floating out there? Not realistic, right? But let's say you could be out there for days, just like doggy paddling and floating, and no one ever, like, you're just out there till you get exhausted. Like that fucking freaks me out. Like you'll just be fighting for your life forever, but your death's inevitable. Like,
That's what we're doing now.
What?
That's what we're doing now, technically.
Says
We
we're
all
just-
have a
we're all
time.
just-
We all have a time.
Yeah, but I'm playing video games. I'm relaxing. I'm enjoying my time.
You're
I'm
in your
talking
good
about.
element.
I'm fighting for my life in the middle of the ocean.
Sound like
like,
R. Kelly
we're
right
all
now. I'm
doggy
fighting for my
paddling
motherfucking
to-
life.
Tony's like, we're all doggy paddling to the end of our life. It's like, I think there's levels to this shit, and I think right now I'm relaxing in a hot tub, metaphorically speaking.
So
until I die, right?
what are you scared of, Tony?
Up until recently, death.
Nothing.
Death, no.
Oh.
Death was one of my fears. The unknowing of death. Like, what's the next? Because I have a story, right? And no one, I don't think, and everybody probably don't believe me or nothing, but obviously you guys know that I died when I was born or whatever. But for some reason, in my mind, I have a memory of stairs, light, and then falling back down. I don't know why, but that is in my memory. I can never forget that. And I told my grandmother, she was like, that's you, religiously going into heaven or whatever. Like I felt me walking. I saw me walking on steps.
So you had like an experience where you almost died?
No, I died technically for like 5 minutes as a kid growing up.
Oh,
or
okay.
when I was
So you're
born.
talking about, like,
when I was born.
When you're born.
Yeah,
and you have this memory.
And I just had this memory. I don't know. At an age, I don't even remember the age, but I had it. I just saw it, and I'm like, I remember it, and it felt so real to me, and it was just so weird to me. I didn't know where this memory came from or whatever, but just one night, just waking up in the morning, I just remember this feeling. And I don't know. I woke up and I was like happy and sad at the same time. And I told my grandmother, she told me you're just revisiting your memory from when you died. I'm like, that's just bugged out to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Wait.
And that was always a fear of mine.
So in your memory, you were walking up to heaven, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That would be the thought process. But then you tripped and you fell back down.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was that the devil dragging you to hell?
Maybe
What
this
did you
is my
do?
hell.
What did you do in your show? This is your hell.
My 2 seconds, right? My 2 seconds of life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's me coming back to life. I don't know. But that was just a memory of mine, and that was always a fear of mine. Is death. Like not me dying, but me not knowing what's after that. You know what I mean?
I think I fear death because I don't have religion as a thought process for what I think happens after death. So death in my mind is just
a big unknown.
Darkness. It's just that little whoomph when you used to turn off old school TVs. That's what I think of.
Yeah,
I hope these religious people are right, dude, because I'm a good person, damn it, and I deserve to be in heaven, all right? And I don't know, man. Sometimes I'll sit and I think about death, like as a concept, and I start to have like an anxiety attack. Like it freaks me the fuck out. Like I can't just sit there and think about it. It just fucking destroys me. Like, because I just think of like, what does it mean to cease to exist? I've never experienced that, so I can't ever really comprehend it. You know what I'm saying? And like I get into this like endless loop of me trying to think of it, and it really just fucks with my head. Like it gets me all kinds of fucked up. Like I can't just sit there. I have to like turn on the TV or do something right away.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and that was my fear right there, Puch. That's anxiety because it's like I don't know what's next for me after that. Like what I hope I can just be a fucking spirit and just fuck with people on world. Like I'd rather do that than just not know what tell me if I die that I can just go around fucking with people. I'll be fucking dick.
You want to do like a ghost prank show is what you want, like
you know what I mean?
Pucho's gonna be reaching for his headphones and you just knock him on the ground.
It's funny how the person who does not want to own a Ouija board wants to also fuck with people when he's in spirit form.
No, that's
it's
different.
Because he thinks that shit is real. That's why he doesn't want it around. He don't want the spirits to fuck.
I don't
with
want
him.
negative spirits, right? You are fucking with spirits, right? Like you are calling for them, and you're calling for anybody to come and answer. I'm saying I don't want to call.
Tony, I will point out once again that you are the only person on this 4-person podcast that actually owns a Ouija board right now.
I don't own shit. I didn't buy it. It was placed, and I can't control
Purchasing
placement.
is not the fucking thing that determines ownership. Like if you receive a gift,
I deny gift. I deny.
A spirit's gonna pop out from that Ouija board, and Tony's gonna be like, "Actually, I don't own this Ouija board. You should go down to Texas and haunt my homeboy down there
Here's the
because he's
address.
the one that actually owns this.
He purchased it.
Yeah.
Now, on the low, it would be equally like horrifying to like come in contact with like a spirit, but also really cool. Like you've basically just like proven to yourself at least that there's something. You know what I'm saying? And that's incredible. Like just the thought of that is pure insanity. Like I don't know.
They were real casual about finding out that ghosts actually exist in the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Like that should have been a way bigger deal than it was.
But
they didn't give a fuck. They were like, we need to catch these things.
They didn't ask him any questions. They didn't ask him if there was a heaven or a hell or if God exists or anything like that.
No
They
real
just
questions.
started blasting him.
like but now my deepest fear now is dying before I get to see my son grow up. That is a fear of mine right now. And I don't know if it's just because like shit or whatever that happens in life, but it's just like I want to see him grow up to a certain point to where, you know what I mean? Like where he knows who I am and the love I have for him. Like I want him to know that. And like right now, God forbid if I die or anybody dies that has a kid young of age, it's like they're going to know you for a little bit, but they're not going to know you. And that's something that I want my kid to remember. You know what I mean? I want him to know like this is my dad, El Caballo, Tony, whatever he's going to call me. That, you know what I mean? Like, or know me as. Like I want him to know like he has love for me. You know, because right now, like Liana's age or my son's age, or, you know, at a certain age for these kids, they know, oh, that's Dada in the picture. But they're not going to know, to me, I think, they're not going to know that love. Like, damn, my dad, like, what would my dad do in this situation? You know what I'm saying? And that's a fear of mine. It's like, I want to see him grow up and know who I am and what I was to him, memory-wise, you know?
So if you're a spirit, you could guide him though. He would be there trying to make this decision.
Facts.
And he just hear a ghostly bok bok in the background.
Yeah.
He looks in one direction. Bok bok.
Here's the box. That's how he knows. Oh, okay, I need to place this bet. I heard the box.
Facts.
I mean, besides all the like obvious shit,
yeah.
Like, don't we all like? What is a fear? I guess like just to, maybe so I could answer the question.
Getting old. Getting old is a very
that's like
big
an
fear.
example of a fear, or is that your fear?
No, like what's your fear? My fear was that, but that's your fear.
No. I'm saying what does fear mean? Like, because if it's just something you're afraid of, like I'm afraid of being bitten by a dog. I'm afraid of someone stabbing me. I'm afraid of, like, there's a whole gang of shit that you're afraid of, right? But that's not what you're asking. Like,
fear is something that that you cannot control. That you have no real, like you whatever happens, you can't stop. Like that, something that's out of your realm, something that you can't stop. Like a car hitting somebody in front of you, you can't stop that car. That's like something out of control. I think what fear is, something you can't stop. But you see it, but you can't. It's a fear like that, like something that just will literally kill you to death because you're so fucking afraid of it. You can't control it.
yeah,
I think that's
at least for me, that's not how I would define fear. Because, like, as an example, in our previous episode, right, I clearly stated that I derive a lot of my happiness by how much money I have and or how like basically how much autonomy I have due to the fact that I have money. You know what I'm saying? I could buy what I want. I have a house. I have a car. Like those things make me happy, right? Allegedly. Tony doesn't agree. So a fear I have is losing all of this shit. I'm afraid that like if I didn't have money, like my life would be fucked. Like just like imagine I was homeless. Like that shit is scary as shit to think about.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So,
But that's something that I could control in a lot of cases, right? Like as long as I don't make a number of stupid decisions, then I won't end up like that. You know what I'm saying?
Pucho, by knowing you and knowing a little about you and the way your brain works, I would assume that like the root of a lot of your fears, because like you said, like being homeless and getting bit by a dog and things like that. I would assume that the root of a lot of your fears is that you fear chaos.
Absolutely. I love order. Like anything I could control is good because I could determine the outcome. You know what I'm saying? And chaos in general, bad. Like you bring a new person around, like that makes me uneasy and things like that. But it could end up being good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I want to have autonomy over what occurs, and by not having that autonomy, that introduces like a negative feeling into the equation, right?
Yep.
I don't know how to use what all the words are to describe these things. So I'm talking very basic, but
that's why I was saying that my fear of like being trapped in my body. I know that it goes back to my claustrophobia. Like it's some aspect of that. It's like the mental claustrophobia almost, right? Like it's being mentally stuck rather than physically stuck somewhere.
Yeah, dude. Again, this is all derived from similar things of autonomy, but dude, something that freaks me the fuck out, like, and sometimes I think about it, I'm like, there's no way out. Like, what if you got put in like, I don't know what the right word is here, but
Like a mental institute?
like a psych ward or something like that,
Yeah.
like a mental institution, like where they're basically saying you're insane, and we need to keep you here for your own safety. It's like, but I'm not. Like how do you convince someone you're not insane? Like everybody's gonna say they're not crazy. Like so, it's like that shit freaks me out. The fact that we have like institutions like that in this country that like I don't know how common this is or how often this type of thing happens, but just like the idea that your family could, like in certain states, like your family could just put you in a psych ward like against your will.
What did y'all call that shit down in Florida? You said there was an actual like an act for it or something.
The Baker Act.
The Baker Act.
You could just say, yeah, my family, like this person. I think it's like if you're married to them or they're like a dependent, you could make moves to get them institutionalized.
Wow.
And
I see the good and the bad in that.
Sorry, what was that?
I see the good and the bad in that in that particular act. Like,
absolutely. Like, say your wife has like suicidal tendencies, like it's probably a good thing that you could be like, yo, I need some help. Ask the state, like, yo, put my wife in the situation, she needs help, and blah blah blah. Like that seems like a good like thing to have, But like obviously, I'm sure there's negative outcomes from this. Anyways, the idea of being put in like a place like that, like a psychiatric ward, and just not being able to convince people that I'm totally sane, and just being there forever, like getting pilled out, and just like that's like that situation sounds so fucked to me. Like that's just horrifying.
If you tell me that, yo, Tony, if there's any reason I go to a psych ward and I'm looking at you and I give you this sign or a cosign that I'm okay and you need to break me out, I'll be that nigga to break you out.
I'd appreciate it.
Just like
Tony's
Mateo,
gonna come through with his AK.
If Mateo
is gonna shoot up the whole ward, like we getting Pucho out this motherfucker right now. Like,
if Mateo becomes a veggie and he tells me I'm gonna give you a 4 blink and a wink, end me, I'm gonna end him.
I want to check in this baby Luca, and he's got his Glock inside the.
You don't have to shoot me, man.
Yeah,
you can
I don't
just
have to
substitute.
shoot him. Dog. For real, this Doey wants to shoot you, Mateo. That's what we just came down to.
You can do it a little bit more discreet than that, dude.
Yeah, for real. I could just like, dude. There's plenty of things I could do to Mateo. Just end him, just with this one pinky.
Okay. Doey, what else do you got besides heights?
Facts.
Heights, getting old is scary for me. Not being able to take care of myself and having to have other people take care of me. Maybe I don't have that type of money set up. What happens then? Do I just, you know what I mean? I've seen some scary things here in New York with people who don't want to be taken care of, and they just hoard, and they're like super dirty and millions.
You think you'll be a hoarder?
I don't know what type of old person I'd be. I'm already an old person as a young person. I sleep way too much. I eat only the same things, and I'm always in a bad mood, kind of. So
Yeah, you're
like,
a grumpy bitch.
I'm already old as it is. So like, I hope that my future is good, because I see the way that a lot of older people function, especially here in New York. Very sad. New York is not a place for old people.
That's why they go to Florida.
It has some of the best healthcare and stuff like that for old people, but it's not a place for old people to live.
That's so interesting too, because like I know that there's certain situations in New York that are fucked. Like imagine an old person living on the 6th floor of that building you lived in the Bronx. They got to walk up those stairs. Like that's a horrible situation.
Facts.
Like, but New York, in my mind, is one of the best places for old people. Like if you could find like a decent living situation, like the fact that they don't need to be able to drive, they could get on public transit, they could get in trains. You got to walk upstairs and shit. That, or you know, there's stairs into the subway or up onto platforms. Like that's still a lot of walking. But like the fact that you could get on buses and get around the city and shit like that, to me, that's like super cool. Whereas like old people out here, man, it's like they're fucked. Like they gotta drive like off rip, and that's like car accidents galore. Like,
how do old people get onto the, or how do people in wheelchairs get onto the subway? Are the subways not ADA compliant?
Yeah, wheelchair.
They have certain stops that have wheelchair access elevators.
Gotcha. It'd be nice if it was every stop, but it's not.
It'd be nice, which I'm going to be honest, I'd advocate for, because New York has a high percentage of disability people living in it, and they can't leave. And
that sucks.
I think that they matter. Disabilities on all levels, I think they matter. I think as time goes by, disabilities change, and I think as time goes by, we have to like accommodate for these people. So.
I have a complete tangent, but it's an old people question, so I feel like I need to ask it since Joey mentioned being scared of being old. What do you think was possibly the situation where all 4 of Charlie's grandparents ended up living in that little house in one bed?
They never got out of that bed.
And also, was that the only bed in the house, or why were all of them in that one bed? Did everyone else just sleep on like the floor or something?
I think that was the only bed in that house.
And was Charlie's grandpa a piece of shit? Because Grandpa Joe got up and started dancing the second Charlie won that contest.
He's over there claiming disability on the line.
Maybe the happiness. Maybe he got so energized. All right, that he wanted to dance. But I don't know. I don't.
He could have been disabled. He could have had mental illness. Mateo, are you being an ableist? Are you saying that he was on that bed of his own volition, and as soon as he had an opportunity, he got up? So he was just a lazy bum. Is that what you're saying about our fucking boy Charlie? What was his name? Charlie what? Charlie.
I could not remember his last name the other day.
Button? Charlie Button?
That might be right.
I don't know.
That man was completely mentally lucid, and he barely had to use that cane once they got into that factory. I'm just saying, Grandpa Joe's bum.
Not Charlie Button.
You're thinking of Benjamin Button.
Yeah, he's thinking of, that's what I was just about to say. He's thinking of Benjamin Button.
Dude, that Benjamin Button disease would be fucked.
That would be a fear, right?
It's Charlie Bucket.
Bucket. That nigga had a bucket.
I said button. Nah, man, I think like happiness, certain things could trigger like newfound strength, but usually that's just temporary. He got the strength to get out of that bed, and he went on an adventure.
Yeah, super adventure.
I don't know. It's interesting. We got to think on that. We got to ask the scientists about that. I don't think we can make our own determination.
Just saying, I don't trust that Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa Joe.
Well, I think his name was Joe. I can't remember.
So are we good with the fear topic then? Everybody's got their fear out, or understand what fear is? To fear itself.
I still don't know what fear is, but
fear is the mind killer.
Well, the definition of fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. Which is pretty much what we all. And that's a definition, right? I don't know if some of y'all want to go off a definition, or if you want to say it's more of an emotional thing. Like,
yeah, no. I understand that to mean fear. I'm saying when you're asking what are your fears, I think it's more abstract than that definition. I think it means something a little bit more than that. Because again, I wouldn't expect everybody to be like, yeah, I'd be afraid of, my biggest fear, I don't want to be attacked by a dog. Like, that's scary. But it's like, it doesn't really happen. Like, you thinking about getting attacked by a dog all the time. Like, no, like there's probably like a real a big fear that you have. I feel like there's another definition that doesn't include like, you know, all the menial little things that could happen. Like I'm afraid of stepping on like a sharp object, a piece of glass. I'm afraid of that. I don't want to do, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think we've
Covered it, right?
we've almost exhausted everything. What I'm most surprised by, and I wasn't gonna say it, but now since nobody said it, I'm gonna say it. The cheesiest line. It's the only thing we fear is fear itself. I'm surprised nobody said that.
I said that like 10 seconds ago.
Really?
Did
Yeah, you can hit the rewind on this one.
All right.
Hit hey, mark the
I
time.
didn't
2
hear you
minutes.
say that,
2
but all right.
minutes and whatever seconds. That hit it. But
All right. I'm surprised. Well, then my surprise has gone away, and you're as cheesy as I thought you would by saying it. I knew that it would be you to say it.
what
I swear, I was like, Tony's gonna say this bullshit. I know it. Except I didn't hear it, so it doesn't feel like I'm right.
well,
So I'm wrong, which makes me right because my previous statement was about how nobody said it. You know.
eh,
Do I
could be
sound
right.
like what's his name? What was his name?
it
Something
was
Howard?
Tim Howard, was it? And the Hustle and Flow.
I don't know.
I
shit
was
is
wrong. I
terrible.
could have been right, but I'm right because I could have been wrong. Or some dumb shit. But
So I'm still right.
yeah.
You're like, no, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
But well, to all the listeners and the viewers out there, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell. Notify yourself to when we drop these videos, you are ready to receive our information, our love, our hate, everything. You ready? And just to always remember, everybody, go one up yourself. Mind you, you see the cowboy flags out here. Just to put it out there. Look at
Why'd
that.
you have to go
Look
there?
at that passy. Look at that passy.
It was such a good outro for a second there.
That was
That
perfect.
baby does not want that specified.
But like I said, everybody, one up yourself.
Peace.